and Gabi Lozano Campos about their work at Education for Sharing. Dina is the founder and president, and Gabi is the chief operating officer. And we're going to start with an activity led by them and then learn more about global citizenship and education.
Thank you so much. It's a true privilege to be here with you. Gabi and I are tremendously excited about getting to know you, ambassadors, and to share a little bit of the work that we do at Education for Sharing. And just super briefly, and after that incredible presentation that Nick shared with us, and after seeing all your questions, to share a little bit of the context in Education for Sharing, our mission is to raise better global citizens through a very special methodology that we want you to get a taste on. So if at all possible, we would like to invite you to open your cameras, whoever feels safe and ready to. We will have an activity, and it's an activity called Shadow. And so if you want to give me even a thumbs up, that would be awesome, just to know that we can start. And Shadow is like this. We will I will make something and I will pass it to someone else. So you can be my shadow, and then I will invite someone else to be a shadow. I am looking through our ambassadors, and I would like to pass the shadow to Robert Liu. So you make a movement, and we will all follow you, and then you'll pass it to someone else.
I'll pass it to Anvi.
I'll pass it to Abhay and Shusra.
Abhay, can you pass it on to someone else?
I said I'll pass it on to Shreya.
Yeah, Shreya was doing her move. You're doing really well.
I'm passing it on to Sarah.
All right, I'm passing it to, wait, who hasn't got it yet? To Rosa.
Yeah, and Rosa, you'll be the last shadow, the last guide for this moment. Go, Rosa. Rosa, do you want to be the guide? Maybe meanwhile, Rosa can open her camera. Would you like to pass it on to someone else?
Anvi. Maybe Anvi can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, to Radhika.
Wonderful.
Oh, okay. Shadow to Anvi.
Okay, I'll pass it to Rosa now.
Rosa Maria Atique, do Brasil. Okay. Yay.
Maybe I can close. Can I be the guy?
Rosa is, I think she managed to open her camera.
Wonderful.
Oh. Oh, I don't know where Rosa went. Gabby, why don't you take us home while
Yeah.
Rosa connects again?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Stretch. Shadow to Dina.
Thank you. Thank you so much for playing with us. This is a very simple game, but it's I want to share some questions that we're very keen to learn about you from you during this game. Who liked being the guide the most and why? Could you please share if you were a guide passing on the shadow, who did you like being the guide or the shadow the best and why? Yes, Ambi, please.
Well, I liked like seeing other people's reactions to my move.
Exactly. And did anyone else like more preferring being the shadow? Lara?
Well, I was like, I like being the guide, but I did not know what to do with the movements. I just did like parts of a TikTok dance. But I also like being the shadow because I knew what to do, although it was like a bit awkward. It was very cool. I liked it.
Wonderful. How did you decide to what moves to make? Was
Wait,
it
me?
difficult to decide? Yes.
Oh, yeah, it was kind of difficult because I didn't really know what to do. But then I thought about this song Cupid that's been trending on social media, and I just did random
Ah,
steps from that dance. So it was fun.
it was really fun. And what do you think this has to do with guiding a team? Do you think this has any connection to leaders that have to take into consideration different things when guiding a team?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to be creative to think about the movements you're gonna make. You also have to be brave because you never know if what you're doing is too ridiculous or too like perhaps outrageous, and you have to be like brave to take that step, like, oh, to stop caring about what the others think, but to take that initiative. And also, well, you have to make sure they have fun, right? To carry your team with you, not just tell them where to go, but to do it together, I think.
That is huge. Thank you, Lara. Yes, I'm very, very deeply connected to all that you are learning now about being ambassadors for climate, you know, from your communities and inspiring. That was a beautiful, beautiful answer. And what responsibilities do you think we had as guides, even in this game? Guides doing the movements that others would do as our shadows.
Well,
And
I think, do you want someone else to answer? Or?
You can answer, and everybody else is also invited. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Well, I think that the responsibility is to put the foot out first, you know, to be able to, us as leaders, give the example, and the rest should follow, not because we tell them to, but because they see that we're having fun and that we're doing actually great things and they want to do it as well.
That's excellent. And so on the counterpart, what responsibilities do you think the team has? Anyone else, like being a guide and being the team? Is that the same? Is it different? What responsibilities do you think as a team do we have? Yes, Ambi, please.
Like as a team, we can like support our guide or leader and like encourage them and help them out like when they need it, because yeah, they're like leading us forward. Yeah.
Yes. And so supporting each other, right? And what do you think? Is it possible that we can all be leaders and form a part of a team in favor of sustainability? Can we play both roles? And how is that possible? Yes, Lara, please.
Well, I think that in the sustainability area, there's a lot to do. You know, there's the economical sector, there's the political sector, there's the science sector. So I think that perhaps we can all be leaders in a very specific area, but be working as a team to move towards a common goal, because perhaps I will be in the economic sector and the political guide will be like, you know, the one that makes the movement, but I will still be contributing in a certain way and I will be the leader of my area of expertise. So I think that's something very cool about this particular subject.
There is so much to be done, right? And there's so many trenches that we come from that complement each other. And there is a real interdependence throughout all these areas that you mentioned, Lara. So absolutely. And I wonder, from this very simple activity, if you got any insights or ideas about what can you do starting from today to be a better guide in this area of sustainability? Are there any? I want to see the hands. Any ideas? Or something that you want to share that came to your mind after this game, the shadow. Yes, please, Lara.
Well, perhaps, you know how people, well, for me, it was like in my family. I can be an example, for example, for my little brother or my parents, also within a group of friends. I can invite them to do some activities or projects with me, and also like to the rest of society in my school area. I can behave in a certain way that is different. People may see me and say, well, I also want to act like that because I want to make a change. And that way we can make a huge network by starting ourselves.
That is huge. And every single one of the ideas that you mentioned and the concrete action points that you mentioned are critical. So thank you for sharing that, Lara. And I see Sena's hands also up. Please share with us, Sena.
Sorry, my camera isn't like working that well, but I
All
think one
good.
theme was like unity and making sure that everyone was like on the same page, because I think so often I see issues with like everyone not striving towards the same goal or like being disunified in that way. And I think especially in the context of climate change, like making sure that we have like a good foundational understanding of what we want to strive towards and how we want to get there, I think is important as well.
That is absolutely critical. You are referring to the heart of the issue is teamwork. Sena, is really teamwork. And if, for example, in this game, Shadow, everybody did whatever they wanted and didn't contribute, then it wouldn't have been fun, and then we wouldn't have learned together all these incredible insights that you are now sharing. So really it's about seeing and going towards the same north and rowing together, right? To achieve this incredibly challenging task that we have in our present and in our future. And Anvi, I see your hand is up too.
Yeah, like adding on, basically, like within a team, there should be some type of mutual like balance and connection. Like going back to the question you asked before, in a team, there should be multiple leaders. But at the same time, depending on like the scenario or like circumstance, we need some people, we need like a leader, but also a listener and observer, like to balance it out, because like those different personalities can often clash, and like then that will lead to like, yeah, separation between the team, and there should be some type of like connection and yeah, like balance.
It's pure wisdom here. Thank you, Anvi. That's exactly right. And we need all the voices, all the different characteristics and personalities and ways of integrating, because you know, we're only going to move the needle as we collaborate and as we celebrate the diversity within the teams and bring on board other voices that can think differently and that can work together. So thank you so much for playing with us, for reflecting, and for sharing your insights on how to take action on just this very simple game, Shadow, which we invite you to play with, as you said, some of you said, with your siblings or neighbors or families. Please do. And so with that, we want to share also a little bit more about, so you went to the heart of education for sharing, which is that we play. We have an extraordinary team of really committed leaders, very diverse leaders from different, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Dina.
Oh, thank you. Yes, from all walks of life, from different geographies, different colors, flavors, smells, all of it. And that's what makes us really go forward to raise better global citizens. So you just shared in a nutshell what a global citizen is. With your answers, with your participation, it's clear that you are aware of yourself, aware of others, and also aware of the global and local challenges. You also recognize your interdependence with the world. So meaning that whatever you do here really has a consequence elsewhere and vice versa. And that you are actively assuming responsibility to participate in building this equitable, more just, happier also world, and of course inclusive and towards a sustainable global society. So if you see when we speak about these very big concepts like sustainability and the greening, education, etc., it really has to do with values, right? You mentioned a lot of values during the game that we play, and that is also at the core of any mission that we have, anything that we set our minds to. So in Education for Sharing, we play, reflect, and take action. And the games that we play all have to do with the Sustainable Development Goals, and also to learn about how do we practice civic values and what do civic values have to do with achieving these Sustainable Development Goals, and also the kind of social emotional skills that can really harness the understanding and the success in achieving contributing towards the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as an active participation. So what we did after the game was the circle of reflection, and then within the reflection we have the take action part. So here we have some examples that we wanted to share with you from different, very different contexts. One is Karim. He's a 10-year-old boy from Mexico, from a state called Estado de Mexico, in a public school surrounded by crime and violence. And he was also, Gabi will remember, the shyest kid that we've ever met, but he became super garbage. He decided to start a campaign. And Gabi, can you tell us more about the Global Citizens, please? You're finding your mic. Okay. Yes. Well, while you find your mic, it just to.
Okay, I found it. It's just
Oh.
that I was controlling the screen and I couldn't see the. Yeah, so the history is super garbage. He was like really shy, but we are sure that everyone can be a global citizen and an agent of change. So with their school. The school is in a very polluted area in Mexico City. In Estado de Mexico is the state that is surrounded Mexico City. And they were like really worried about the pollution and everything in their community. So when they come up with an initiative that it was a campaign to separate garbage. But they were like really, okay, they create different trash cans to understand, but they were like really worried about how can we teach the younger kids to separate garbage? So they come up with this superhero that it was super trash, and they create their own games. So they have been playing games with us about sustainability, about different SDGs, and they come up with their own games and they create this superhero so they could share with the youngest ones how to separate the garbage in the school. And it was 11 years ago, and the teachers tell us that they still have this initiative in their school. So Karim is maybe in high school now, but his initiative and the initiative of the children is still there. And also the other one that we wanted to share with you is this one. Let me try to move because it has a delay. Okay, the second one is the rap and mural against violence. In this case, this one was in Mexico City, and it's in a very violent area and very unsafe area in Mexico City. So most of the parents of the children that were in that school have been in jail or yeah. So it's a very difficult environment. So here the fifth grade children, they come up with an initiative that it was called the mural against violence. So they create with graffiti, they create a mural in their school against violence. But what it's even more amazing is that when we left the school, when we were in there, they keep creating different projects against violence, and they create their own rap against violence. So they compose it and they share it with the whole school. and the whole school during the recess, they used to sing together the rap against violence. And it was in the newspapers all around Mexico and everything, because they are really global citizens and they are agents of change. And this is for everyone, as we saw in Shadow, everyone can be a leader and everyone can be part of a team. So in this one is regarding sustainability also. It's from a children's home that is called Niño Jalapeño. They created their urban garden, and it's still working, and it was amazing to see how they organize, how they look for the resources to do it, and how they invited other adults to join their initiative. And the last one is from Guatemala. Here it was a rural school. The other ones were in the city, but in this case was in a rural school in Guatemala. So they saw that they didn't have enough medicines and enough supplies that they would need in a case of an emergency in the school. So they created these first aid kits for the school, and they learned using the power of play. They were all these global citizens using the power of play. They learned how to diagnose their reality, how to come up with proposals to help achieve the different the different challenges that they are facing. And they also ask others to join, and they implement them. So so the power of play, I think when we were talking about storytelling, that it's also a form of playing. It's a really good, really good tool to move the emotional part that we all have as human beings, and it helps us to join and to really be aware of ourselves, of our context and our world. So it was those are some of the examples. As Dina said, we're education for sharing, and our mission is to raise global citizens using the power of play. So yeah, so that's our methodology that we wanted to share with you. And also, if you need games, or if you have cool ideas for games that you want to share with us, we're totally open to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so much, Gabi. And we'd love to hear if you have any questions or comments